Hello and welcome everybody. This is Bartosz from UK Games Fund and I'm here to present you with some amazing teams and their amazing games. We'll be showcasing a representative of each team of Tranzfuser 2023 and we'll be showcasing their game trailer. So you'll get a sneak peek of what they are cooking up for us in their indie journey. So we are gonna have 9 teams today. Each team will have around 10 minutes. We are gonna try to pick the brains of the developers, learn, how they've come to create the project they are creating, why this sort of theme, why this genre, how did they all get together, see how Tranzfuser maybe helped them, the struggles of the development, the successes they've had. It's plenty to get on with. You can, during the stream, you can type !teams. This time around, it will just give you the website, the link to our website, where you can browse all of the teams, you can enter each team, and then you can see their socials, a brief description about their project, and get even more insight about, what they've been working on, which is great. If you have any questions as well to the developers I'll be speaking to, please feel free to message in chat. I'll be keeping an eye on chat. I hope I'm heard. I should be heard. Okay. Just checking if my mic is working. If I'm too loud or too quiet, or if you cannot hear anyone that is speaking with me as well, please let me know in chat and we'll get that fixed as soon as possible. Before we get started, also heads up that the stream is also happening tomorrow, starting at 6 p.m. and we'll also have another 9 teams. So 50% of Tranzfuser 2023 tonight and 50% tomorrow. We are gonna go on to a quick break where I'll troubleshoot things with the first team member, but as soon as we are ready, we're gonna jump right back on. So don't go anywhere. Audio all good, amazing. Don't go anywhere, or do if you need a beverage, a drink, a snack. I know this time might be like dinner time for some people. So yeah, see you shortly. Okay guys, so here we go. I have the first team member with me from team Northrak. Hello and welcome. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Nice. So how are you doing today? How are you? How's the team? How are things coming along?
I'm good. The team is doing great, and everything is going in schedule.
Amazing.
So we're really hyped.
Amazing. So maybe tell us a bit about yourself and your team. How did it come together? What made you want to pursue this indie route of Tranzfuser right after graduation?
Well, it came from the fact that each one of us always wanted to work on an indie studio and have a way to communicate with each other and have a say on the project, not just be part of a big team, but have a say on it. And we were already a studio formed outside of Tranzfuser, and we were always given people singing songs about Tranzfuser and how amazing it was, and how it managed to make them stand out and work further for their successes. So we decided, well, we're finishing university, let's go for Tranzfuser, and that's it.
Yeah, why not, right? You got a risk. If it's something you want to do down the line, why not try it now? Especially with something like Tranzfuser at your hands. So maybe can you tell us a bit about the game you started making and how was the game something you already had planned prior to Tranzfuser, or did the game kind of became a thing only after your application?
We were creating the game before Tranzfuser. It all started with the grappling hook mechanic. Everyone we had it played, they just loved it. They always said it was amazing. It always gave that Spider-Man feel. And so we thought we could probably have a community and have some success with this mechanic. Let's make a game around this. And slowly has been building up, getting the team on, getting what kind of genre is going to be to fit best. And just in general, each month see a progression on what we wanted the game to become. By Tranzfuser, we had already kind of an idea of what we wanted, but it is during the shoot that has been solidifying itself on what it is, what it is about.
Definitely. Yeah. What areas of your game do you think Tranzfuser helped you solidify the most that you feel like beforehand was a bit in the air?
A bit how the way players engage with the game
Okay.
itself. It's something that for us is really important to understand because um, if we don't understand what people are enjoying about it, then we don't know how to make it work for the players. Um, and Tranzfuser kind of has allowed us to not only playtest but be more active, be more. We have to engage with the community. We have to put it
Yeah.
ourselves out there and see what people give us as feedback. And with that, it allows us as well to test our ideas and see what might work and what might not work in the long run.
Have you found yourself ever taking the ideas and sort of testing them on socials, as you mentioned, where you maybe share a prototype mechanic you might be working on, but then you try to see how's the reaction from your audience? Is the feedback good? Is the feedback bad? Maybe it just needs iteration. Have you tried to utilize that kind of method?
That at least me personally, I have. Especially when it comes to social media, I'm always trying to understand.
Oh,
And let's try this date at this time, see if
yeah.
it works. If not, then I go. We talk as a team, like we see other games. We found games that are similar in theme to our own, and we started going, what have they done correctly? What have they been promoting? How can we engage at the same level or even better than
Yeah,
them?
I see. So it's just using that space as a learning environment, essentially.
Yes,
It,
which is, I would say, is very essential for this kind of environment. Of even in games, it's always a learning
yeah,
experience.
yeah. Have you found that space quite competitive in terms of trying to? Obviously, it's like any sort of social, and trying to get attention is super competitive. But maybe have you learned from Tranzfuser any maybe tips and tricks you can utilize to get ahead of the competition in the industry?
It certainly is very competitive. There's always so many people and so many games
Yeah.
being made at all times, especially in the indie space. Um, it's always be aware when AAA's are like being announced and when big events are happening, because usually they can happen one of the two things, which is either you get completely sidetracked because you're indie, you're not a big
Yeah.
studio. So avoid trying to time yourself with them. For example, this week it's Gamescom. We know that our socials are not going to do as great
Yeah.
because everyone is focused on that.
Very true.
So we're going to avoid a little bit our socials just this week, but prioritize, for example, something else, maybe development. In our case, we're prioritizing our Discord this week.
Okay.
With announcements, with trying to see if people will interact with it a little bit, just on their spare time.
Yeah. See, that's interesting because to me it seems like you're able to find a gap where even though Gamescom is happening, all the socials are going to be swarmed with the big fancy sparkly titles. You can still engage with the community that is already there, and you know that they are interested in the game because they are already in the Discord. So kudos to you. That's smart.
Thank you.
What would you say was like most surprising going from a student to someone who's now trying to make a commercial product? Was there anything that you actually didn't expect? Because, there's obviously things you feel like, oh, that makes sense. But was there anything that caught you off guard, like, oh, so we actually have to do this?
I would say mostly on the business side of
Okay.
stuff. It's something that people don't talk much about. And even when you try, for example, we had in our course some modules more related to business and management. There's things that they're never going to explain to you and you never know. So it's always on the fly that you're learning, oh, we now have to interact with the HMRC about this. I didn't know this was a thing. What about something else? And you're always repeating this process over and over again.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is a learning process. And as a developer, what was like a biggest lesson you you feel like you were able to take out from the weeks of head down work on a project?
Take time to take a break. because because when you're passionate about something, you'll get engulfed into it.
Very true.
Sometimes a bit too much, and sometimes you need that time away from the project to actually think of the best ideas ever. I know that for one, our grappling hook, for example, came about, the shape of it came about because I was walking my dog and I suddenly look at my dog's leash and I just go, it's a grappling hook. Wait a second.
Yeah.
So
Everything around you becomes
sometimes
the game.
distancing,
Yeah.
so sometimes distancing ourselves, even if it's just a day, it's enough for you to suddenly realize that, we could have been doing this better. Suddenly you have a better idea. Suddenly you have something that will push the project forward instead of making you stuck.
Definitely. I mean, even sometimes when you I'm sure you experience it when showing stuff on socials where you have someone who hasn't been looking at the project 24/7 and all of a sudden they say something that should have been so obvious to you. It's right there in front of you for weeks and someone can just spot it like this and you're like, oh my God, what was I doing?
Yeah, that's why I feel it's very important to have outside perspective from someone. If it's your playtesters, if it's your player, the community you create around your game, it's always good to have someone from the outside or someone that can take a day off and just go, suddenly look at something and go, this needs to be done this way.
Yeah, it happens often. And I feel like it's something that definitely people, maybe who are still prior to graduating and studying games, should definitely consider. I feel like even looking back at a university project, you can already learn that lesson there because you'll look back and you'll be like, why have I done this? Why have I done that? But that's you also improve on the way. So anyways, okay, a bit more about Close to Flight. What's your elevator pitch? Maybe you can.
Well, grab your grappling hook and swing through the skies, delivering packages to the inhabitants of the floating islands.
Amazing. There it is. Okay, as our time is shortly coming to an end, it's really quick this time around. So people can check out your game at upcoming Insomnia in Birmingham, where Tranzfuser will have their stand. But is there anything you want to say to the audience, to people out there about your amazing game, or any shout-outs? If you want to thank anyone, this is your spot.
Shout out to the whole Northrak team. You guys have been amazing this whole time, especially since Tranzfuser and even before that. As well as our game can be playtested right now on our itch.io. Just look for Northrak itch.io and you'll find it, or Close to Flight. And if you want, join our community server. It's open to anyone.
Amazing. There we go, guys. Okay, we're gonna get the trailer up on screen. Thank you so much for chatting with me. If you guys type !teams in chat, you'll be provided with a link to our site where you can check out all the teams and Northrak and their game Close to Flight. Without further ado, here is the trailer.
Welcome to Close to Flight. You are a newly trained mail carrier, given a grappling hook and a bag full of letters and packages. Swing through the skies in a beautiful world filled with floating islands and colorful characters, eagerly awaiting for a visit and their packages to be delivered. Find and earn stamps to trade for upgrades to your grappling hook. These upgrades will change how you use tools and interact with the world and how you traverse. Explore dynamic environments with the levels featuring a variety of bird characters with their own stories to tell, quests, special items, collectibles and secrets. Play the demo of Close to Flight on itch.io and join our Discord community for new updates and developments.
Hello everyone, hello. And we are back. We are back with Rob from Team SKiNT. Hello Rob.
Hello, Bartosz.
How are you doing tonight? How is things? Yeah?
Good. Yeah, going well.
How is the game development? How has it been over the weeks?
It's been
Yeah.
good, stressful, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
Very, very productive.
Yeah.
Very
What
quickly.
was been stressing you through the process? What do you think was like a challenge you had to overcome?
Well, every week is a kind of a different challenge because we're doing so many different aspects at the same time. But that's kind of what attracted me to indie games to begin with. I kind of like all of the aspects. So.
I see. Amazing. And how did you find out about Tranzfuser? What made you wanna gather a team to engage with this program?
Well, it was actually one of our lecturers, Hamid, who was one of our design lecturers during the course at GCU. We were at a game jam in Barclays Eagle Labs where he got chatting to us about about Tranzfuser. And when I heard about it, I'd already been thinking about doing an indie startup sort of company. So thankfully, the first 3 guys that I thought of all agreed to join me,
Amazing.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know?
that's really lucky when you actually have people that you already know, you enjoy working with, and to find out that they're
Yeah.
actually on board as well. It's like boxes ticked, that couldn't be better. So did you guys manage to keep like gelling together throughout the program, or did you maybe had to adapt the roles, fill in a gap that you thought wasn't necessary prior to the development, or did everything stay as planned in pre-production per se?
I think that we had an idea of different aspects we might have to do throughout and what we were interested in doing. But it's good working as this sort of team because we can rely upon each other. Something seems like a bigger problem when in your own head, but once you're speaking to the other guys about it, it's a lot easier to deal with. You get other people's perspectives on it. So yeah, everybody's really good at putting on different hats. Kind of jack of all trades. Some people are obviously better at others, or things I can't do. But it's a good thing to be able to bounce off ideas off each other.
Definitely. So are you guys able to work in the same space together, or do you just communicate over online?
So for us, it's hybrid.
Awesome.
We have Barclays Eagle Labs to go into, as well as GCU. So we try to meet at least once or twice a week in person, and then we have stand-up meetings online each day as well.
Amazing. So you're definitely keeping in touch all the way throughout. Would you say that's important when developing, an indie project? Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially for us, we've been our project was brand new. I had the idea initially before we started, but everything we've did has been over the last 9-10 weeks now, from scratch. So yeah, it was definitely necessary. Been able to bounce the ideas off each other, iterate upon them, and then by the end of the week we can check on how much we've done and then what we're going to do for the following week. It's a good way of working.
Yeah, because you're always keeping an eye on what's been done, where the team is at, and obviously keeping everyone in the loop is always great because everyone will ideally have the same idea about where the project is headed. So that's amazing. So what's your game? How did it come to be? You mentioned you started it with Tranzfuser, essentially. You had to put it in sixth gear and get on with it. How was that for you from the start until now?
So surprisingly, it's actually been great, especially for me. We're working on something from the start all the way through to the finish, which is different from university. Often in university, you're having to do quick iterations, but you can't really finish the entire project. You just have to concentrate on sections of it. So it's nice to be able to take the full course. And again, the idea was initially in my head for some time. It was just one of the pitches. We each pitched a bunch of different ideas, and that was one of the pitches that we all unanimously decided upon, which was really cool as well. It meant we're all, it wasn't any sort of arguments about what we're going to work on.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a collective
decision. That definitely helps with the vision and any sort of decision making going forward, right? Because hopefully if the initial vision sticks with everyone, then further adjustments of development or scope changes should hopefully follow that pattern. So what is Erdstall? Where does the theme concept idea come from?
Well, the word initially, I believe, comes from Europe. That's the name for these lost tunnels.
Okay.
People would find these tunnels buried
Mm-hmm.
underground, and they weren't entirely sure what the use for these tunnels were. Some are just kind of random, some are interconnected between different villages and stuff. But it seems to be a common sort of reoccurring
Yeah.
structure. And the the original idea for our version of Erdstyle came to me as a recurrent nightmare. I used to have this
Oh no.
nightmare that chased by a minotaur, yeah. And I thought that was some kind of a universal sort of almost symbolic, the
I
mythology
see.
behind it and the
Okay.
idea of it. So it seems quite good fodder for a horror
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
and the core gameplay mechanics and everything's just sort of sprung from that. And the Erd style for us is the labyrinth of lost places.
Mm.
So the original labyrinth from Knossos has continued expanding throughout time,
Okay.
and anywhere that gets forgotten about gets sort of amalgamated into the original labyrinth.
Ooh.
And the Minotaur's been getting bigger and bigger over time. So
Ooh la la.
that's the core sort of gameplay
So
mechanic.
what
Yeah.
players can expect is being chased and spooked in tunnels.
Yeah, yeah. So it's got elements of survival
Mhm.
horror. It's got elements of
Mhm.
stealth, but we're trying to
Stealth.
to
Okay.
sort of tap into like the liminal aspects of the back rooms and
Mm.
stuff like that. So the back rooms are behind, ours is below. That would be a good way of sort of describing it. Anywhere that's underneath the ground has been incorporated into the
I
labyrinth.
see.
So
Interesting.
that's
So
the main idea
what would
for
you
it.
say? What sort of elements do your team kind of identified to help create that environment? What would you say were the key aspects to create that? The atmosphere for the tunnels, the Minotaur, everything underground.
Well, yeah, ours has quite a strong visual aesthetic. So there's a bunch of different
Mhm.
artists that we're looking at, like Dave McKean, and we wanted to try and capture a grim, dark version of the mythology, but combine it with this more like dreamlike, painter-like
Okay.
vision on top of it as a unifying sort of
Mhm.
theme. Uh, and we're trying to tap into some of the original symbology from the original myth as well. So we want to try and have that as a through line throughout. Those were the main sort of inspirations for us
Yeah.
visually. So we're trying to capture a sort of balance between realistic but also this supernatural, almost colourful. You know,
Interesting.
those things don't normally go together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
interesting. I feel like personally, to me, it sounds quite challenging because obviously you're trying to go realistic, but also you are uh, implementing the aspects which might not obviously apply. So that's definitely a challenge. Speaking of challenges, I'm
yeah.
gonna, because our time is running out, really quick today. Um, I just want to ask about your team. How has it changed from the start? We've talked about how you guys you got together. You were spot on in terms of vision, understanding one another with the project. How did things evolve? What aspects do you feel like your team improved on as a result of participating in Tranzfuser?
Well, I think it's a nice transition between university to business startup, having the sort of routines and deadlines that are similar to
Definitely.
university. It's almost like having, the track is
Yeah.
there. You have a bit more free movement. It's almost like training wheels. So it's good for us in that regard. I think, like Northrak said, it's the business side of things is challenging. It's not something you get to grips with quite easily with university. I think that's more focused about getting you a particular career path into a bigger pre-established company. But my interest is a bit more DIY than that. I like I like skateboarding and horror directors and stuff like that. These are people who tend to do it for themselves because they have a particular type of
Yeah.
vision, and then you can iterate very quickly. You don't have to spend years on a project only working on one aspect of it. We get to do all of the things, and that's not for everyone. That's not you'd really want to have to do all of those things. But if that's the type of nature you already have, it's a good way to facilitate that. That was the appeal for
Yeah,
us.
nice. And what was the best lesson your team took out in that aspect to improve that in that area?
I think it's taken on the feedback, you know, and how it applies to the original vision. It's kind of a tightrope. You're trying to keep what originally inspired you, but you're obviously trying to. This is a populist medium. You're trying to make a product that's for people. You want to get it into their hands, and you want to be successful enough to continue doing that.
Very true.
So you're trying to hit a mark of quality, and then you're also trying to, you know, create a business that has your core ideals. You know, for us, that's creative rights, living wages, and try to establish Glasgow as this alternative for new indie spaces. I think it would be nice to try and create an infrastructure for other people to come on board and make their own dream projects. To some degree, that would be our main aim. And Tranzfuser's got sort of similar ideals, so that's been really helpful.
Yeah. It seems like a really great place to learn and absorb all of that. And to me, Rob, it really sounds great that you have a vision, because they're always having that some why, something to keep you on the track is great, because you always have you know why you are doing it, and knowing why you are doing something helps to keep doing it. And you know, whatever challenges might come your way, that's always there to help out. Okay, as our time is up pretty much, you can make any shout outs, give us a brief elevator pitch. You don't have to, about Earthstall, and we are gonna put on the trailer for people to see.
Well, ours is a horror game made by horror fans, and we're very respectful of people's time. It's directed at mature audiences, so if you have less time but want something of quality, then hopefully our game is for you. We'd like to thank Anthony, our facilitator, Deborah, yourself, everybody else at Tranzfuser, Hamid, and all of our friends and family who have helped support us the whole way through the process. It's been great.
Amazing. Okay, and with that, Rob, it's time to spook our audience with your game.
Enjoy.
Okay. Hi everyone, we are back. I'm here with Young from Eventide Birds.
Hi everyone.
And there is an echo.
Young from Eventide Birds. Hi everyone. There is an echo. Young from Eventide Birds. Hi everyone. There is an echo.
I think you need to mute the stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, for a second, guys, I'm muting the audio just so the echo gets resolved. Okay, we are good now, I think. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, here we are. You can hear me real time. Don't worry about the stream. Right, pleasure to meet you, Yang. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. And how are you?
Amazing. I'm amazing as well. Thank you so much. Oh my God. You might be the first person who ever asked me how I am. It's stressful. Yeah. Anyways, let's start with an introduction, perhaps, of your team, and then we can move onto your game.
Yes. So now we have like 8 members.
Okay.
Working on our second project, and the name is Fatality, Crime, and Economy of the game. And we have 3 people working on arts, and 2 people working on programming, and also like from them 2 to 3 people working on game design, and we also have a social media manager and a product manager. And most of us are from China or with like Asian background, and we do have local guys as well. And also like all of us have a bird name as our kind of nickname. So I'm Owl, and we have like we have Raven, we have Gray Agate, Penguin, and Blue Jay, and yeah. All of us have a bird.
Nice team for every teammate.
yeah, to represent our personality.
Awesome. That's cool. Also, for anyone, a fun fact: there is this bird called poto bird, I think, which is really bizarre, but I love it. So maybe your team can check it out and add one in somewhere as an Easter egg. Anyway, so how did you all come together? How did you find out about Tranzfuser?
Like we noticed Tranzfuser a long time ago. So at the beginning, it's only like two of us, and we kind of think kind of interested in starting our own like indie game. Yeah, and so we started, and we tried to make some prototypes of different theme and genre of games. Yeah, and we brought this prototypes to more people who would like to get involved to game industry, or they are already in the game industry and would like to make more stuff. We brought this prototype to them and asked whether they would like to work with us together. And like we gradually scaled up our team. And yeah. Because our main goal is to make our studio sustainable and become a real studio. And Tranzfuser is a very good opportunity for us to get involved in the industry and get to know more about how a business in the UK works, and also make our games better, like to improve it. Yeah. So yeah, let's say routine. We say routine.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's quite inspiring to hear. Honestly, you seem to be, head down on track with a clear goal in mind, which is amazing. What did you find the most useful thing you feel like you've learned in trying to develop a commercial product here in UK as a result of Tranzfuser?
Sorry, what's
like the most useful lesson about whether it be games development or business to try to make it commercial so people will want to buy your game?
You mean for the studio or like
both,
for the game?
Both, either, yeah.
Well, that's a good question.
Got you.
I would say, so for me as one of the team leaders, I would say like to give freedom to your team members and let things happen. Like you don't have to control all the stuff. You can't. Just leave it to your colleagues. Trust them and see what they can bring to the game, to the studio. And
no, definitely. So do you reckon that kind of helps you, like, some peace of mind, because you can trust them, and because you are all being professional, everyone has their job and needs to fulfill it, sort of thing?
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. No, I'm just wondering if like the fact that you all are aware that you are making a commercial product, that everyone will try to be professional, so you can trust them with all of their tasks and everything.
Yes, we're making a commercial product, and some of us have professional backgrounds already, and so the thing is to let people work on their own field and to like bring stuff together.
Yeah, that's fine. We can leave it there. So let's talk about your game. So what sort of game did you decide to create? What did you think? Like, this is what we are good at making. This is what we are gonna, what we think people like. What is that project for you?
Okay. So this game talks about like how the government can balance from like birth rate, crime rate, in economic development rate, and people's happiness. This game it gets inspired by Roe v. Wade.
Okay.
Like is last year, American they got something, and after that, like the states they can choose whether to make abortion legal or illegal with their own law. And this is like this inspired us, and we feel this is a very good
Okay.
topic, and we would like to discuss it to the
Yeah.
public. And yeah, that becomes that brings the game.
How did you feel about using such a heavy, not heavy, more like a serious tone of a theme for a game? Did that offer you any challenges? What were the benefits of going in that direction, would you say?
I would say it's a very great challenge because you need to balance because it's a very serious topic, and we are trying to make it serious as well. We referenced a lot of academic articles, journals, and the social facts. And also, this is a game, and you need to make it very like interesting. You need to attract the players. Also, because it's a commercial project, you need to get the point to the players and let them to get them very willing to buy your game. You need to balance between this, but I would say it's a very unique project because as far as I know, there's not too much gaming project focusing on this kind of anthropology or sociology topics. And yeah, this can be our unique selling point, and people who are interested in this will be like they can be very fancy in this game as long as we're really making it good.
Yeah.
But because so there are challenges, but there are also beneficial.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't many games like this, but even if we look at titles like Papers, Please, right? It wasn't necessarily a super fun, super interactive game, but it had a clean visual, etc., which I think your project might appeal to that sort of audience as well, right? Because we are running short on time, we need to slowly finish up our chit chat. If you wanna greet anyone, have any shout outs to your team, to our amazing viewers, Tranzfuser, anyone, this is your chance. And also you can give us a brief introduction once again to your trailer, which we will play right after.
Yes. Imagine if you're the governor, what will you do? What policy will you apply to the society to raise the birth rate? And imagine if you're a female who is expected, what will you do? What will you react if your government has just made abortion illegal? Come try our game and see what will happen in the province of Iowa. The game, the playable demo of the game will be available on Steam this September. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the chat, Yang. And with that, time for the trailer. Hey guys, welcome back. I have with me Curtis from Twilight Shift. Hi there, Curtis. How are you doing? I'm amazing. Thank you, thank you. I'm liking your energy. That gave me a boost as well. So, with that energy, tell us, who is Twilight Shift? How did Twilight Shift become Twilight Shift? Tell me. Oh,
And then we
sorry,
met
can you
Ben
start
at
again?
Live-
I've done goofed. The audio was off.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. So
Apologies, guys.
yeah, we basically met through university, and then we met Ben, and we just started talking about our love for horror movies and how much we enjoyed just the horror aspect in game.
Okay.
So that's basically it. And then we were like, we heard about Tranzfuser and everything that you guys do, and we were like, you know what, we'll take a chance. So we decided, let's do it. So we made our own indie.
Amazing, amazing. So see, that's interesting to me because it sounds like it's almost like the game genre brought you together and the likeness of it. What
Yeah.
would you say were the
Yeah.
biggest influences for your team from within the genre that kind of helped push you and inspire you?
Well, I mean, Resident Evil for one, and then we've got games like, you know, Amnesia, Slenderman, Escape the Backrooms, Phasmophobia, everything like that, really, to be honest with you. And then since then, I mean, we've gone on a ghost hunt together. Don't know if you guys have seen it on YouTube at all, but we thought, why not? What we got to lose? So we decided to go on a ghost hunt just to see what it was like.
How was it?
Spooky. yeah, pretty spooky. Yeah. Not great. Fun.
See,
Fun,
but
though.
that's great. So how do you think that get together as a team, how would you say it helped you, you know, to synergize and to maybe bring the project even closer to what you would consider spooky?
Well, I mean, while we was on the ghost hunt, we even came up with an idea for a
There we
mechanic.
go.
So yeah, so that mechanic in the game, which I can say, it's not illegal to say, but we basically got a spirit box. So a spirit box is where ghosts will talk to you through a box, but only like one word answers at a time. So we've implemented that into our game, so you can give clues, also do challenges, all kinds of different stuff. But you'll see.
Nice. Yeah, don't reveal too much. People will get a chance to play at Insomnia.
Yeah.
If anyone is going. Yeah, so how are you differentiating with your game Lights Out in this, you know, fairly saturated market? How are you as a team tackling the challenge of, you know, not making just another here is a spooky moment in a dark alleyway sort of game?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. So basically, I mean, it includes our USP, I imagine, which is we're using light systems to be able to make puzzles inside the game as well. But we're also using liminal space, which is great to like spook people, because it's all about that, you know, when you walk down a hallway that you don't know and the lights flickering. Do you know what I mean? It's more about not seeing the monster, or monsters or whatever. It's more about leading up to it, like that little bit of where you're like, right, something's going to happen. So that's what we're going for.
So a lot of tension building through environmental storytelling, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also we've got a narrative as well that goes with the whole game.
How did you find trying to tell narrative in a game that just tries to scare the player? Was it something hard to implement, or did you feel like it actually went well together almost?
I think it goes well together, because there's like core elements of the story, but then there's also like, I mean, we've seen it in games before, but like, do you mean notes left around? And do you know what I mean? Like storytelling via that as well. So
I see. And to try to make it commercial, what do you think were some tips and tricks you acquired in the program to, you know, get more people, whether it be on socials, figure out fundings, approaching publishers? How do you think sorry, what do you think was like a key aspect for your project to help it going forward?
Well, I mean, a lot of what GIF Games, Anthony, our mentor, has been talking to us about and everything like that. He's helped us incredible amounts with like connections and stuff like that. But yeah, so basically, it's just you got to post.
Yeah.
I imagine, just get the name out there. So.
Yeah. Okay. So it's all about that consistency. What would you say was the most effective way of posting for your sort of theme game?
Well, we've had quite a lot of hits on like our YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that. So it's mainly just about talking to people that already love horror games, and then we can just show them what we're working.
Yeah, definitely. What excites you the most about your project? You yourself, as a horror enjoyer, what's like without spoiling the story, without spoiling any hidden mechanics. Okay. Right. What's like something that gets you like, oh my god, I'm so hyped to QA test my own game. Let's go.
See, I can't say it without spoiling anything.
Okay.
But there's some really good stuff going on. But I mean, it's really hard for me to say it without saying it. So I think it's probably best to just come along at Insomnia and give it a try.
There we go. Yeah, definitely. And you as a team, did anyone kind of had to change up any the key roles, adapt? Did you guys manage to, how did you evolve throughout it all?
Well, there's only 3 of us. There's only 3 developers. Okay. So we all kind of share roles and we kind of like understand sort of stuff. So at first I was just doing narrative and audio, but now I'm also on level design and like UI design and stuff like that. So it kind of evolves to what we need essentially. Okay. And we just work it out from there.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, although you are covering a lot of bases, but you also have the benefit of being a small team, I guess, and that helps you keep an eye on things and be aware of what's going on. Which area of your game do you feel like had needed you guys the most? What was the highest scope for your type of project?
So it probably had to do with when we did some gameplay testing. It came back and basically some things were a little bit confusing, a little bit difficult. So we've had to kind of rewire it, make it more understandable and stuff like that. So that's what we've currently been working on. So yeah, I'd probably say that, to be honest.
Nice, very nice. Okay, we are up on time. This is unfortunately it, Curtis. What are your what are some of any thanks, any shout outs?
Oh, I mean, thanks to everyone's family. Thanks to my girlfriend for hearing me talk about this game constantly the past like 8 weeks. And then, shall I do a quick elevator pitch?
Am I? Give me a second. Yeah, do it. Go.
Lights Out is a single-player liminal horror game about a team of ghost hunters that will solve eerie puzzles and navigate their way through liminal spaces to you know what? Don't worry about it. But basically, you're there to solve a mystery in a mansion.
There we go. That's all we need to know. And with that, let's get everyone to see the trailer.
Awesome. Thank you.
When the hotel opened in 1939, I was just a young woman, full of dreams and eager for adventure. But little did I know the absolute horrors that awaited me there. The guests were not mere mortals, but lost souls, forever bound by their pain and sorrow.
And we are back. Hello. I have Alex here with me from F.A.R Game Studios, Ltd. So tell us more, or tell us something about you and your team and your game. Give us all the information.
So my name's Alex. I'm the company director and also team leader for F.A.R Game Studios. Our studio is comprised of the Davis brothers, so the team is made up of me, my brother Ryan, and also Luke. And we also have our talented programmer, Alex Chambers, who we call Fridge because obviously there's two Alexes here. So
need to separate somehow. So a bit of a family business going on then. Yeah. So were you guys studying together, or was it just like a dream you guys had to create a studio and then you found Tranzfuser?
Well, it's a bit of both, really. We all went to university together at Wrexham Glyndŵr.
Amazing.
And we basically just worked really well together. And when we found out about Tranzfuser when we went to EGX last year, we saw, because we attended it ourselves. We went to Games Talent Wales, and we attended and showcased ourselves, and we saw Tranzfuser was there at the same time. So we had a bit of a nose and had a little look, and we got to know more. And since then, we kind of just wanted to do it. So yeah, it was. That's how we got to know Tranzfuser.
That's amazing. Basically. It's great to hear that you were. Sorry, I was there at the stand. If I haven't seen you or haven't spoken. Unlucky.
Oh, there was a lot of people. I'm sure you probably forgotten my face by then, but
yeah, there were a few. So with that, what would you say was like a thing that really captured you and made you feel like this is a viable option for you to do? Like this is a program that can really take you there to the goal where you're headed?
Well, we kind of, when we went there last year, we took a different game called Orchestrated Chaos at EGX. We kind of just saw how everyone just liked the game, and we got some critical feedback from it. Seeing people have a good go at it and have lots of fun with it just kind of inspired us really, and just instilled this kind of like need to, or want really, this drive to just basically make this a thing where we can potentially make a big career out of it. So that's where that came from, basically.
Amazing, yeah. I mean, it's always so almost, I suppose, a bit surreal when you get to see someone enjoy your product, something you've put a lot of effort in, especially in when creating games. It's such a passionate space, you know, there is so much passion that you pour into a project. So a very poetic way to get it started, Alex. Great stuff. So how did you find it in terms of covering all the areas that need to be covered in terms of games development as a team? Were there any gaps? Did you have to adapt contract? How was it like for you, you know, entering the commercial space and, you know, now working from a deadline to a deadline at times, I suppose?
Yeah, well, as a team, there's 4 of us, but we mainly cover most of the areas. The only team we were sort of lacking was concept art and stuff like that, and also some calligraphy. So we did outsource for that. So like for our logo and our splash screen and stuff like that, we outsourced that to somebody who knew what they were doing, so we could get basically the most out of it. And any roles that we thought that we could pick up, we just sort of just got on with it, and we're doing really well with it. We're on track. We're not really struggling. We're doing very, very well. So I'm very proud of the team.
Yeah, amazing. What's your favorite part currently of your game?
Favorite part of the game is just getting us together. And just having a blast with it.
How wholesome. Wow.
Testing the game and just having a blast.
Amazing.
It is really good fun.
Are you hoping that that's something you'll be able to translate onto your audience as well? So that's something they can experience too? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. How I compare it to and how I feel about it is kind of like Super Smash Bros. Then no matter how many times you play it, you're always going to have fun because it's a different outcome every time. So it's just great fun and great replayability.
Yeah, it's important. So in terms of your game and the gameplay, how did it come to be? Why did you decide to move away from the, you mentioned you were showcasing another project at EGX, and now you have Miniature Mayhem. How did Miniature Mayhem become a thing?
Well, we, as brothers, we kind of competitively played games basically all our lives. We grew up together, we shared the same room, we played all the same games together. So all those multiplayer games that we had to play, we just had so much fun with them, and we just wanted to create something that basically everybody else would enjoy, and also just something just super easy to play, and something that's super fun to play, and also something that is a bit easy to pick up, but also for the advanced player. Basically, there'd be a bit of a skill gap there for them.
I
as well.
see, amazing. Yeah, I do love myself the games where it's easy to start but hard to master sort of thing. It's always great to be able to showcase and flex on people, the time spent or like the effort you've put into getting better essentially. Yeah, so that's great. That's great. In terms of this sort of like party genre, it's definitely competitive as well. How are you looking to break through that?
Well, eventually we would plan, because at the moment the game is local multiplayer, but we do plan on integrating online features into the game. So there could be a possibility that maybe like a ranked mode or something like that.
Okay.
Or like maybe one-to-one battles and stuff like that. Something that we have got something to think about, really.
Yeah. So you're lining things up for that potential expansion of the scope, essentially. Yeah, amazing, nice. What's your favorite part of the game at the moment?
My favorite part of the game is basically looking at the perspective of being a miniature in a big world. It's quite fascinating and also quite fun to kind of discuss and make a game that's kind of in a microscopic basically scope. It's really fun and it's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. I mean, because you get so many things that we usually consider small or big in our compared to to us. If you make everything miniature, there is a lot of like plenty of content to like play around with, which is great, which people will see from your trailer, but I think it's been nicely implemented into your gameplay as well. Maybe if you can tell us more about it as well, how you translated the objects into level design.
So our game is the theme of it is scientific. So we thought of kind of like sciencey kind of objects and things to use as weapons. So we've got like a flask that like a not test tube, but like the round kind of thing. I can't think of it top of my head. That basically use it as a remote mine, like a remote chemical mine, where if the player goes near it, they basically blow it up and it sends them flying. And then we do have plans for other themes in the future, for things like a pirate ship, for example.
Okay.
So we've got like a cannon in there. We've also took inspiration from our last game, which was Orchestrated Chaos. We got a guitar, basically that can launch the players. Just kind of little bits and bobs, kind of like anything you could find in a little dollhouse, really, that you could use as a weapon.
Nice.
Little trinkets.
Yeah. I mean, these sort of games are always, it's chaos and pure fun, I suppose. As we are shortly coming to an end, we're going quick tonight. So what would you say was the key lesson you took out of Tranzfuser? Like right now, it could be for yourself or for your team, like something that you feel like was a big lesson and something you really think can help you enhance your game and your studio.
Basically, to just you got me there.
Something to think about.
I've learned basically how challenging it is to run a business. I know that sounds cliche, and the other teams have said it, but it's not really something many people do talk about. And getting to grips with everything that's to do with that side of the thing has been really challenging. But I've kept basically to it, dedicated to get it done. And
yeah. I mean, do you feel like Tranzfuser helped you get a grasp on things much better?
Yeah, the weekly GBA meetings have been really, really helpful, giving a lot of insights and a lot of things to think about. Because again, it's these kind of things, they do get brushed over, and we didn't really do much businessy kind of things in university because that wasn't kind of our area. So yeah, they've been really, really helpful, and they've been really good.
Yeah, great, amazing. Okay, so before I showcase your amazing trailer of the big and yet small game Miniature Mayhem, you can give us any shout outs, greet anyone, say hello to chat, and you can give us an elevator pitch as well if you wish.
So hi chat, and also big shout out to the whole team. I'm very proud of them. Big shout out to Rich, our facilitator. A big shout out to Max as well. Max as well, who is our facilitator. Sorry. And also, yeah, Rich is also part of the university who's helped us get this far, and big shout out to them as well.
Amazing, there we go. Okay, on to with the trailer, and if you guys are around or you want to find out more about the team, check out !teams in chat to check out teams on the website, or you can come to Insomnia and check out our stand. We'll show the trailer and then we'll go into a short break. Thank you so much, Alex, for chatting with me.
Thank you. Yeah. Enjoy, everyone.
The scientific community and the world at large. After years of study in the field of molecular biology, my work to solve the modern era's food crisis has failed. As luck would have it, a new discovery arose when a rogue gamma ray struck one of my experiments, creating the subjects you're about to witness. Presenting my finest creation to date, a miniature being whose potential is yet to be realized. Not much is known about these tiny creatures other than their propensity for violence and pursuit of absolute chaos. Welcome to Miniature Mayhem!
And we are back. That was a quicker break. I have Camille here with me from Dreaming Giants. Hello, Camille.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
How are you?
There we go. I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you here. We've had some amazing teams tonight already.
Great to
Yet
be
another
here.
coming in hot. Dreaming Giants. Big fan of your logo, by the way. I think it's great.
Thank you. It is.
So since we are on the topic of your logo, maybe you can tell us more about who the Dreaming Giants are. How did you guys get together?
Yeah, we found out about Tranzfuser when me and my good friend Dan, we went to WAST this year, and we saw your stands, and I went to one of the talks, and we got very engaged, and we kind of branched out and sent out some marketing online and put it on Reddit, put it on Discord, called out for all the UK artists, and we got together a ragtag powerful team.
That was quick. It just happened just like that. Yeah. Was there any issues getting people on board to work on the same kind of project? Because I believe, sorry if you can tell our audience as well, did you start working on your project at start of Tranzfuser, or was it something that was brewing prior to the program?
So we started the project technically 1 month prior to the start of Tranzfuser, but the project was made for Tranzfuser.
I see.
So we heard about the program at WAST. I believe it was May.
It was April.
And I think it was April. And the night off that I went home, I whipped up a very quick playable demo. And since then, it's just been evolving and merging, and it's definitely a product of Tranzfuser, and it wouldn't be here without it.
That's amazing. Yeah. So what was the moment of inspiration that really struck you, like something that made you go like, oh, I want to do this? Was there any game at stand? Was it the vibe? What was your inspiration?
Inspiration for having a game studio or for this game specifically?
You can give us both. Yeah, I'm happy to find out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, game development has always kind of been a part of me. I think it's always been a question of when that I'm gonna kind of get it started. And Tranzfuser was, I felt like, the perfect excuse to get in the saddle and kind of start working on something and get together a team. That was kind of the main incentive, was the money.
Okay.
That's how you really get people together. And the project kind of, it came out because we wanted to make something fun, something joyous and colorful and vibrant and something lovable. And the initial concept for this game was a cat. And it included a lot of cat puns, but we thought that the cat idea was less than original. So we took that our own way, but we kept that fun of those puns. We kept that color of those puns, and we kind of morphed it into what we've got today.
Nice. And then what was it difficult trying to, now take this really cool concept you've had and get it to the point of the vision like you had in your mind,
It was a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
It's definitely very easy to throw things at the wall. It's very difficult to get them to stick. I think it's been a lot of back and forth on concepts, ideas, and especially with the genre that we're going for, which is a kind of collectathon puzzle platformer. And that word puzzle has been the hardest part of everything,
Right.
is really getting a concept that's tough to solve, but easy to grasp. Think games like Portal, where you kind of pick it up and you do it, and it's very instinctive, and that's been our main goal, and I think we've really encapsulated that well.
That's nice. Yeah, that's smart. Very true about the Portal. Yeah, it is. It's intuitive what you need to do, but then what creates the complexity is what's created around the one simple mechanic, right? And I feel like, as you've said, challenge of it is how do you? Because games are human-made problems that you solve in a fun way, essentially. But then with puzzle games, it's a problem on top of a problem within it that you need to solve, and have the player have fun doing it as well. How maybe you can share, how do you feel like you as a team, what was your recipe for success with that, to achieve that?
Well, as I said, it was a lot of trial and error. The night of, I went home, I put together a player controller that could jump and that could walk around, and it's a lot of what feels good. Throughout that first kind of month of getting people in, working on the game, it was a lot of testing out speeds, testing out how high they can they jump twice, thrice, what really matters to us and what parts of the game are at the core of the game. And there was a lot of things that we had to cut, a lot of ideas that didn't quite make the cut, and it had to be narrowed down and streamlined, and that really got us to the success we have is this thing of like, kill your darlings, and the ideas that did come up were really great, and some of them I'm sad that we had to cut, but what we've got now is such a strong core project, and we're really excited for where to take it further.
How did you make that decision of what you as a team see as something unnecessary for the core product?
It definitely depended on the game. There was a lot of features that fit different genres more. There was a period in our development that we fluctuated between genres, and we went between kind of an action adventure game to a platformer to what we have now, which is a puzzle platformer. And these genres, they have their own very distinctive features, like abilities, power-ups, items, and some of those things just didn't quite fit the core of the game that we had in mind specifically for this one. It's definitely not an easy choice. Sometimes it was down to just a vote for the team, but sometimes the things they didn't feel right. You played it and you had all these features that were of some other genre, but there was this one feature of a genre that wasn't quite part of the puzzle, and it was there and it functioned, but then it wasn't quite right, and it had to be cut.
Yeah, so all about creating that unity with all the elements. Exactly. Was puzzle part of Lumi at the start at all, or was the puzzle added in as something that you thought would be fun to do and then further developed?
So the puzzle was definitely an add-on, and it's quite strange.
Well, sorry, was it there from the start?
No, it wasn't there from the start. It has morphed and become a part, and it's kind of become the main part now, which was fun because we had this completely functioning platformer, and we kept playing it and we realized there's something missing. There's something not quite at the core, at the very center of the game. And we came up with the idea of creating your own platforms in this platformer, and that kind of became our puzzle element, which really took off and has now shaped the world and shaped how you play the game.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's really good that you found a way, and it's really also interesting to me to see how your project, as well as many others, how all of it evolves. you know, and you saying how you've been trying to identify really what's fun, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and then cutting, adding things in, and really keeping the core vision. That's important as well. So it's great that you've done it. Do you feel like all these decisions, they are contributing to the, you know, like commercial success of your game? And how would you say those decisions do contribute?
Well, they contribute in the fact that, you know, they get the players in.
Yeah.
It contributes in the fact that it's an interesting idea that wants you to keep playing. I think the vision that we had at the start was an interesting one, but the one it morphed into towards the middle of kind of pre-production, and this was just way earlier when all it was blocks jumping around. The vision that was created there was a bit soulless, and I think had we gone forward with that idea, it wouldn't have sold very well because it was just a kind of run and jump platformer. What it's morphed to now has a selling point and has kind of a distinctive feature that people will want to try out and want to try for themselves and see how far they can
Amazing. Get. Yeah, great. As we are coming short on time, we'll need to finish up shortly. Is there anything else you feel like people should hear about in terms of Dreaming Giants or Lumi, sorry.
Lumi.
Probably a first for you.
There is not much else to say except for my elevator pitch. If you like,
sure. Apparently, it's a thing today. Yeah, go for it.
It is a thing today, isn't it? I've got.
Okay, nice. Let's go.
Pave your own path in this DIY platformer with the ability to freely manipulate floating platforms in the world.
There we go. And with that, on to the trailer. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello and welcome. I have Matthew here with me from Pale Blue Ocean. So Matthew, would you like to introduce yourself, your team?
So we're Team Pale Blue Ocean. We are all graduates from the University of the West of Scotland in Paisley. And yeah, we've came together to develop the game Insubordinate, which is a game about a worker who takes climbing the corporate ladder a little bit too literally.
Okay, tell us about it. What can player do?
So it's a shooter game in which the only weapons that the player has access to are items from around the office. Okay. So your staplers, your glue guns, your whatever you can craft out of stuff that you can find
That's
around
fun.
there.
It's a really fun concept.
Mm-hmm.
No, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say it came about thanks to our great artist Katie. We all took turns in April going away, and everybody had to pitch back to the group the idea that we had, and Katie's won out. Half of us didn't even want to pitch an idea afterwards. We were so sold on the idea.
Okay, you've been captivated by interesting. Yeah, but at least it brought you together, right? That was something that was like a gelling point, seems for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our team was. Our team is quite, I say, addicted to the idea because it's just so much fun to come up with things and experiences that can happen within like a cartoonish office space.
Because there is so yeah. Got me speechless. Yeah, definitely. There is so many like everyday life things you can turn into weapons, whether it be throwable, shootable, put a twist on things, like you mentioned, glue guns, staplers, bins, computers. Yeah. I feel like it's the sort of thing that many people can easily visualize and get excited about. Is that something you felt like might be a USP for you, or did you just think, oh, this is a fun idea, let's do it, and then you were like, oh my god, I think people might like it?
Oh, for sure, our settings are the big thing we've been going for our USP. It's just a lot of like these types of games, they're all, you know, sort of dark and maybe sci-fi sort of affairs. So we thought, not go all in the violence, go all in and make it sort of slapstick.
Okay. Yeah, nice. And when developing the game, what was you feel like, aside from the theme, how were you trying to implement some USP mechanics, you know, to differentiate it a little bit from other games in that space in terms of gameplay?
No, a lot of it just came about during like brainstorming sessions, especially after our first playtest. We had a great playtester, Brian, who encouraged us to go further in on the slapstick humor and go more for the cartoonish side of it, because we'd gotten into a point of making it, this is like an office, but then we were like, no, we should also lean into the cartoonish element that we can bring with that.
Yeah. And what sort of elements you feel like were some that really started changing and evolving your project into what it is, which people will see soon?
Making use of the environment. Okay. Like, we've got all this stuff in the environment. Why don't we make it do something? So we have like filing cabinets that you get too close to them, they'll rock about and fall over, or the office hasn't been taking care of its electricity, so there's cables on the ground that shoot up lightning that you have to avoid. I'm giving away the whole game.
No, it's just mechanics. Something player will have to go through. If you guys see a cable on the ground, just don't worry about it. Try out the game's mechanics, experience it in its fullest.
And a lot of the fun is coming up with ideas for weapons we can give to enemies.
Not the player.
Oh, that would be fun for the. It's more of a thing of, oh, an enemy who does this would be fun.
I see.
Oh, we could give that to the player, and the player would enjoy that. And that's more of the way we've been coming up with weapon ideas, rather than just your bog standard, like, what can the player do?
I see. So you're considering both the enemy and the player and the utilities they both have against one another. Have you found...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Say we like the idea that anything the enemy can do with a weapon, you can do with a weapon.
Yeah. Have you not found it a bit challenging in terms of scope to have that implementation?
Scope has been the biggest thing we've had to deal with in the game. We came into with Tranzfuser, we started off our development around about April time. So we got on it quite quickly. But we were a bit too high scope, and we needed to cut ourselves down for a nice vertical slice that we could use to make the things that we wanted to do that was large in scope.
Yeah. What sort of lessons helped you direct everything, put everything back on track? So be like, hey, now this is the project, this is the iterations we need to make.
I've got to give big thanks to our facilitator, Tim, for that. He helped you talk about in your pitch, here's what you want to do. Whereas here's the stuff that needs to be in the game for you to actually be able to pitch it. Figure that out. And it's really helped. We've managed to get a nice vertical slice that we're quite happy with. So whilst a lot of, say, the weapons are still on the enemies only, it's the idea that, in the final version of the game, if we get picked up after Tranzfuser, you'll be able to shoot pencils out of that pencil gun, or use the glue gun to slow down enemies so you can run around them a bit faster than you could before. And it's just sort of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the proof is in the pudding, if you have already examples of that in current version, then you can showcase how that might be in the future, which is great. And is that something you learned over time, like the future proofing of stuff, or were you coming in already thinking this is what we are gonna do, but if we could, this is what we would want to do, you know?
Well, it's a lot of adapting after you come out of university, because in university you have that time of, oh, I want to get this done for my game, but oh, I have a due date, then I guess I just have to cut that. Whereas with this, you're developing a game that you're going to build upon later. So less, oh, I'm going to cut that, and more, push that to the future, make sure what we have right now will be compatible with it when we get to it.
I see. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's a definitely a way to go about it. And is your team, are you guys remotely, hybrid? How is the kind of working going out for you?
We were a mixture of hybrid and remote, but now we've gone to full remote with when Tranzfuser started. It's just much easier for all of us to work at our own times.
I see.
Because not everybody, I'm a day worker, I go into the university campus and sit and work there, whereas our main programmer, Scott, he works more at night, and a lot of the time it means you can finish up your work for the day. Hey, whoever is on tonight, say, Scott, can you get this part done? And you come in the next day, that's done, so you can continue your work.
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful for that.
Nice. I mean, every team has a way of working on things. As long as you find what's working for you, that's good. Just make sure you show up to any meetings and don't stay in bed, I suppose, with some of these schedules. That would be my concern. But yeah, it's good that it's working out, and I'm really happy to hear that you've managed to almost like revitalize the theme and the fun in your game, you know, because it's insubordinate in an office, you know, and you've managed to find really what is missing, the elements, and add it in with the help and the feedback, which is it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. I think that's
one of our biggest difficulties. I should mention is we lost our original team leader. So I'm coming into this halfway through Tranzfuser and having to pick up from halfway through and make sure we get to a point where we're good for Insomnia and we have our vertical slice.
And how do you think you had to adapt things to make things work?
In terms of for the game, we had finished a lot of what our original team leader was working on, and so it's more so how do we reorganize everybody who has certain skills to do the stuff that we need them to do that won't be being done by the team member we're losing. And we eventually came to a point where we've got pretty much back up to where we would be at this time with the original team member still there.
I see, yeah. So yeah, definitely challenging, but it's great to hear, Matthew, that you've managed to fill in the gap, get things going and working again. Yeah. So that's the time. Time is up, Matthew. Unfortunately, are we doing the thing again? Are we doing the elevator pitch? Are you prepared? Or
I've got the elevator pitch.
Okay.
I was practicing this for.
Well,
for
here we go. Right, let's go, and then we'll get onto the trailer.
So, Insubordinate is a single-player roguelite shooter in which player must battle their way up the corporate ladder, one corrupt crony at a time.
There we go. Okay.
Messed up my wording there a bit, but you get the idea.
It's all good. I just thought there was like more coming. Anyways, here is the trailer, guys.
Have you ever wanted to stick it to your boss? Well, my friend, Insubordinate is just the twin-stick shooter you need. Play as Blair as she battles her way through her corrupt co-workers and their vast arsenal of office ordinances. Your weapon may just be a stapler, but who's going to let that hold them back from delivering the smackdown?
Make use of a caffeine rush to dash out the way of enemy attacks and staple them where it hurts. Find key cards to open up new areas the boss doesn't want you sticking your nose into. Bring the smackdown on the office today. Insubordinate by Pale Blue Ocean. Coming soon, much to your boss's dismay.
Hello, hello, hello. We are back. We still have 2 more teams, and right now I have with me from Chudley Games, Ember. Hello, Ember. How are you?
I am doing good.
Amazing. So, would you like to introduce Chudley Games to us? How did Chudley Games become Chudley Games? Where did it start?
So we're a group of 5 students from Canterbury Christchurch University in Kent. We are all on the same game design course, so pretty easy to meet. A couple of us worked together on a few projects through sort of our 2nd and 3rd year, and then towards the end of the 3rd year, our final project, the 5 of us kind of all pitched in on what is our current Tranzfuser project.
Amazing. So have you had a head start working on the project, or were you just doing pre-production and then started with Tranzfuser? How was it like for you?
A little bit of a head start at one point. But we've changed so much. Like the project has gone, we've changed a lot of things, and there's only a handful of things I think originally that were in there that are still there. A couple of 3D models are sticking around for now, but it's very different to what it was.
So what sparked that change to like in the duration of Tranzfuser program? How did things evolve? Maybe why did they evolve the way they did?
So our subject matter is basically like we have the players building robots, and something mechanical engineering based is not the most intuitive. It's not the sort of thing that most people know a lot about. One of our big sort of inspiration games is Overcooked, and everyone knows about cooking, so that's quite an easy thing to get to grips with. But building robots is not common knowledge, and the way that our game was structured, it was really it was quite challenging for new players, even with a lot of explanation at the start. Like once people got the hang of it, it was absolutely fine, but it was that really sort of initial first few minutes of getting used to it that was quite difficult for people. So we made quite a big restructure to overcome that, change the way that the level structure works and what we have players actually doing within the level at any one time. Simplified it down quite a lot, so now it's a lot easier for people to get to grips with and learn to build robots.
That's awesome. It sounds like you identified what was the issue, you worked around it to fix it. Because it's very true, something that it's interesting to think that not everyone knows about mechanical engineering, and if your theme is that, and if you are using, whether it be the concepts, no matter how simplified they might be, if they are not intuitive and the game is somewhat fast-paced, it will be hard to actually enjoy it properly without that small piece of knowledge, I suppose. So now going forward and going through the iterations, adapting, what did you say? What are the USPs? Sorry, I can't speak. Excuse me, guys. What are the USPs, or what is the USP that helps your game stand out from, as you mentioned, Overcooked, which is doing really well because of the simple concept,
Yeah. So our main USP thematically is that the enemy are kaiju. So sort of Godzilla and Mothra kind of vibe. And we wanted to kind of give players a bit more of a sense of satisfaction when they got to the end of sort of sets of levels. So the game is split into 6 sets of levels. You have a few levels in each set. And then at the end of each level, you pretty much take on one of the different types of kaiju that are there. So there's like a boss battle element to it, where you make use of all the things that you've learned throughout that set of levels, and it kind of puts a big emphasis on team communication, and kind of talking to each other to be able to make it through the battle at the end of the set.
See, that is fun. That to me is a really fun USP, definitely. I think the fact that you've implemented a PvE element in something that, you know, is almost like a party time-based score-based game. To me, that's really fun and definitely a really nice USP to have. Was it like that at the start? Was that something you've set out to do? Or were you like, okay, we have this kaiju, why don't we battle it somehow, you know?
Originally, they weren't in the game in that that way. We had them; they were still present, but we had originally a set of screens across the top of the player's UI, and that acted almost like a live health bar. And we had small animations of kaiju and the mechs that the players make fighting on the screen, but it felt in a sense a little bit gimmicky. And it could distract a bit from what was kind of going on in the level. So we ended up taking them out, but we didn't want to lose that presence of the kaiju because that was our thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of had a look at a few different things and thought, well, we want the players to respond to stuff during the level. We want things to be different and change throughout the time that they're playing. So we implemented hazards and obstacles and things that change throughout each level. And then we sort of naturally progressed to involving the kaiju more heavily. And then we thought, well, this is quite a cool thing to have. And it's this really big moment when you reveal this new kaiju. So we thought, oh, well, we can kind of make that into like a really big thing and just focus it down. And we kind of made it a bit of a boss battle element, so they went from being little animations on a screen to being this big part of what the game is.
Yeah. But how did that affect your scope? How did you manage to actually implement that and still keep the core elements working?
Luckily, I do all of the production stuff for the team. So when we rescoped, I managed to do it so that we use a lot of the existing elements that we had. All that we lost was the animations on the screen, but they were very time intensive to get to a good quality and to have as many as we had. And it actually worked out, I think, more time efficient to have like one large kaiju 3D modeled and animated and rigged for each set of levels than it would to have all of the different animations going in the background.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a very efficient change as well. So it kind of made the game a lot better, and it made it easier for us as a team to work on it.
That's great. That's great. I mean, surprising. I didn't expect it to actually be easier than what it was, but when you think about it, yes, it does make a lot of sense. So yeah, that's interesting because you learn on the go, you learn about the project, and then you learn how to adapt it to your circumstance as well. And how did you find, apart from battling kaiju, you know, battling the other games in the genre in terms of gaining some presence on socials? What do you think was like a nice lesson that or like a key skill you acquired to maybe get get ahead of competition?
It's a bit of a tough genre, really. It's very indie focused at the moment, and it's quite a big thing. So there are a lot of different games that are kind of trying to work their way into the couch co-op space, and there are so many different ways that people have kind of taken Overcooked or Play Up or even sort of Human Fall Flat, and they've added a different theme to it. But we wanted to go a bit more than just changing the theme and keeping the mechanics the same. So I think the boss battle part of it kind of is our main element that we want to focus on, especially for making people aware of the game and what it is and how it plays and how it's different to what's out there already. And I think it feels at the moment like a nice combination of a few things that are around, but it doesn't seem to be something that anyone's really tried yet, which is quite fun. It makes it tough in a sense because no one's already tried it, so there are a few things that we're having to kind of learn on the go.
Someone has to make the pathway, you know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I hope it manages to break through. You know, I'm definitely curious to see how it plays out, the whole boss fight. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm just curious to see how it's put together in the game. As we are coming close to the end, I'll ask what I've asked previous few teams, which became a thing, is if you want to do an elevator pitch, this is your stage. Otherwise, you can just reintroduce your game. We'll have a trailer premiere, essentially, actually, which is quite exciting for your game. And yeah, any shout outs if you want to greet anyone, say hello to chat. Go on.
I mean, I suppose it's as a good time as any to kind of thank. I mean, our industry facilitator has been really helpful, so the game would not be at the stage it's at without him. So I want to say thank you to Joe, which would be cool. And hi to my team if they're watching or when they watch.
Oh, I
back.
hope they are.
That would be I hope so. We're all working hard, so I don't know if they're all here, but a couple of them would be cool. So yeah, I guess as an elevator, it's just the kaiju are coming, so get ready.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It just became a thing. Yeah. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Okay, here we go.
No, it's
Thank
fine.
you for the chat. Here is the trailer, guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Anti-Kaiju training program, where you will learn to build and innovate for humanity.
Listen up, nerds. It's a mess out there, and you won't last 5 minutes, not like real soldiers. Just look at you, all round and short. You look like bowling pins. We got them kaijus all over the place, so y'all gonna use them big, ugly brains of yours to build me some robots. You know, them cyber things, whatever you call them. Look, we knew they was dangerous, so we hit them first. Now they're attacking us, just like I said they would. Just look at them. Hideous. Disgusting. Ah! Where are my robots?
Hello, and we are back. I'm here with, last but definitely not least, Julia from Beyond Tomorrow Studios. Hi there, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm amazing. You're last from the teams today, but definitely exciting to find out about your project and the studio as well. So let's start with the studio, with your team, Beyond Tomorrow Studios. How did it come to be?
Yeah, so Beyond Tomorrow Studios is formed of 5 people that met at my uni, the National Film and Television School. And we're a group of game design students, as well as an animation student and a TV development student.
Ooh, okay. Quite the exotic combo then. That's not something you hear quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great way for us to come together. I think we all bring really unique skills to the table, and we love working together.
Nice, amazing. How do you feel like that the contrasting roles helped you in developing your project, or like almost getting started? Did the different perspective aid in that game development?
Definitely, yeah. So our business developer is from the TV course, and his perspective is quite different from our game dev perspective, and it's really great to have somebody whose mind isn't coming from the same direction as the rest of us. And then having our animator be our artist and animator be this just like amazingly skilled animator who just has an amazing love for the craft is just like such a plus.
Amazing, yeah. I feel like that passion definitely helps to fuel the team and get everyone to keep working and stay motivated, probably.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So, Sleep Swimmer, how did that start? Did you guys start before Tranzfuser, or at start of it? What was the schedule like for the project?
So Sleep Swimmer started as my graduate game.
Okay.
And so I got to work on it a little bit while at uni. And when we decided to make it into a Tranzfuser project, we decided to start kind of from scratch, which was really cool because I did it mostly on my own, and I'm not a great programmer. So having our lead programmer and our project manager / programmer producer on the team, they have just like made such a better framework and like architecture of the game. And now I think it's much more scalable than it was before, and it'll be a much more viable commercial product now that we have the team together.
Interesting. And what areas do you feel like commercially make more sense now because you got the team together? Which aspects do you feel like improved the most thanks to that?
Yeah, so one of the features in the game that we've really improved on is our DJ system. So in the game, you're able to make music out of sounds that you collect in the game. And we have drastically improved that. It's so much more fun to play. And it kind of takes our very narrative, linear game and makes it something that's more replayable. And it allows us to have this feature that maybe you can complete the narrative part of the story, but maybe people will come back to the game and want to play it for the DJ system. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, nice. So can you tell us more for anyone who might not know what's going on with a DJ system in a game called Sleep Swimmer?
Yeah, so sometimes I worry it's a bit of a convoluted game, but it kind of plays to its strengths because it's a game about anxiety. So it's a game about overstimulation. You play as this young girl, Aria, who's super overwhelmed in her day-to-day life. So in her dreams, she goes to this underwater town full of salamander people. And there she's able to help them with their problems while helping herself with her problems at the same time. So by collecting sounds around the town, she makes beautiful, relaxing music that calms both the salamander's anxiety and her anxiety. So it's a project that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm really, really grateful to be able to make it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, there aren't many teams as well. I would say that actually, we heard earlier there was a project that there was a teammate who pitched it and everyone loved it. And in your case, it's interesting also because you had a project which you sound really passionate about, and you said it's dear to your heart, that you had others believe in as well. And then it's a topic that I feel like if people understand it, they'll might really enjoy it and really like this space that you are creating and the topic essentially that it tackles, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of our strengths is that we are playing to this niche of gamers and people that maybe aren't very serious gamers that are really looking for more cozy games that speak to their anxiety or their mental health struggles. So we definitely have this large audience that's hungry for games like Sleep
Yeah,
Swimmer.
I would definitely say the key terms right there would be the cozy games. That's something I became aware in recent months that it's a thing. And oh boy, is it a big thing, and is there an audience? Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's one of the fastest growing
it's ridiculous.
areas in games.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I feel like with ever, you know, so many things are accelerating. It's much easier to create content. There is so much content everywhere to consume. So I feel like that could be another reason why subconsciously players are driven towards this sort of experience, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
So, okay, great. And about your team, how was Tranzfuser for you guys? Because you've had people who weren't from that games background. How did they manage to adapt? How did you maybe manage to keep them together and well informed about the industry and where the project is headed, I suppose?
Yeah, Tranzfuser has been amazing for us. It's really provided this great framework for us to work together and really dedicate this great chunk of time towards the game. And it's kept us together and kind of moving forward at a great pace with the progress of the game. In terms of keeping up with the games industry, we're all quite passionate about working in the games industry and creating a studio together. So we're really thankful that we have very different skills because I think we really feel like a proper studio
Okay.
with our different heads of department that kind of spearhead their own area of the game's development.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we've had another team. I believe it was Eventide Birds. Sorry for pronunciation. And they've had a similar situation where they everyone has their own expertise and they got on with it. So it's interesting to hear you from you, Julia, that you also have a team where everyone can put their head down and just get on with things, which is definitely great. And what were the key lessons that you maybe yourself took out, whether it be as a game dev or a member of a rising studio?
I've definitely learned that teamwork and collaboration makes any process so much better. I love working on Sleep Swimmer with my team. Working on it as a solo dev was cool, but it's so much more exciting to be able to share my passion for this game with others. For example, our artist and animator Flavia also really resonates with the topic of the game, and it's just so great to have that environment. And I'm just really excited about the opportunities that we'll be able to have together as a studio.
Yeah, amazing. It's really inspiring, and it's great to see to me that you are, it's funny because it's Beyond Tomorrow Studios, but you're looking beyond. You are looking ahead towards the future and actually have plans and goals, which is really key, having a clear idea where you're headed with what you are working on, which is awesome. What's your favorite aspect about Sleep Swimmer at the moment? If someone asks you, well, I'm asking you, what's like something that you're looking forward to the most in the game? What is it right now?
I'm really looking forward to this longer narrative structure and world building that we're working on. So while for now, for Insomnia, we are working on a little demo of the game, we still are keeping in mind the bigger picture of it and planning out this amazing, massive underwater world for the player to explore. Because we've tons of expansion ideas for the game. So I'm just really excited for all the new art that's going to be in there and all the new storytelling and how we're going to weave together this really deep and relatable tale that we're
Amazing. Is deep a pun intended for the ocean because it's in the...
I always accidentally make puns. I didn't intend that one, but good catch.
There we go. Okay, and on that, I think it's a really nice way to finish up. Actually, it's time. It's ridiculous. It flew by. Okay, so here is your floor. I'll ask because it became a thing. If you want to do an elevator pitch, you can. You can say hello, greet anyone. This is your floor. So go ahead.
Great. So hello to my team, Ben, Farouk, Flavia, Harry, and hello to anyone else watching. And the pitch for Sleep Swimmer. It is a 2D adventure narrative game where you play as an anxious girl who visits an underwater town full of salamander people in her dreams. And there you get to play with the DJ system and make calming underwater music for salamanders.
There we go. Amazing. On to the trailer. Thank you.
Thank you.